Hey, let's start. Most people spend their whole lives worrying about money, bills, the future, rent. I was one of them. But a few years ago, something happened that completely changed my life. Today, I want to share how I broke free from financial stress and the system. I built the system. I now teach in the Academy of Financial Growth. If you're here for the first time, welcome. I'm Ravi Gabis, and this is my live show about real financial freedom. Simple, honest, and practical. To get to know me better, I was born in Eastern Europe in a very ordinary family. I've never seen a sample of big money, of entrepreneurship, and I grew up like a very ordinary child up to the eighth grade. In the eighth grade, an event occurred that turned my childhood life upside down because my father left the family. We were left. We stayed along with my mom. The situation wasn't easy then. My mother worked in the kindergarten, and we didn't have enough money, not just for we didn't have enough for food, and the situation aggravated by the fact that my little brother joined the criminal gang. My elder brother was moving in the same direction. It was a very tough time for my mom. I wanted to support her somehow. And I made up my mind that I would be able to support her if I become an example for my brothers. I decided to become an excellent student in school. So I adjusted to the school system. I graduated with excellent marks. Moreover, in high school, I was appointed deputy president of the school. Deputy president, I was supposed to wear a nice suit. And of course, we had no money to buy one. And I learned how to sew suit. I had to learn. I sewed myself a suit and I was walking around the school in that suit and I was very proud of that. It may seem that it has nothing to do with money. Notice the following. There is a system in any business. And if you know how that system works, you can collect the fruits of that system for yourself. Then there was another system in my life, university. I also adjusted to that system. I remember when I was a student, I worked I worked two jobs simultaneously. I studied at two faculties at the same time. And of course, I ended up going asleep during the lectures. But I adjusted to that system and I graduated with excellent marks as well. And then there was PhD, some kind of system. There was a dormitory. And I was realizing the strategy that I was always taught. I think some of you are still familiar with that strategy. When they tell you, Ravi, study well at university, find a good job with wide salary, huge salary, and then fantastic future is awaiting for you after retirement. That familiar story? I was realizing this strategy. I found a job as a salesman. I met with customers, I went on treatments, I loaded myself if necessary. In a word, I worked hard. And first, tangible money appeared in my life. I bought myself a car. My wife and I, we got married. We were thinking about children, about our own plan. And that was the very first time in my life when I bought a trip to the sea. It was the Red Sea, Egypt. I had never been anywhere by that time. So I'm sitting on my luggage and message comes to me from my boss. He writes on three words, Ravi, you're fired. I still couldn't understand why this happened. I had many sales department myself, and I know what it is like to find a salesman, to raise him, to teach him how to sell, and finally money starts coming to the company. But I made certain conclusions. Sometimes it may seem to you that you're cool, the replaceable employee, but absolutely unexpectedly, you can be left without a means of livelihood. And it wasn't easy back then. My car was ready. I had consumer loans. My spouse asked for money. But luckily, I came across a book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. By the way, who's read that book? I have it here. Who didn't just read? Whose mindset changed after reading this book? The same thing happened to me. I decided that I would build the source of passive income according to the Kiyosaki system. In a form of business, I started working for myself. In the beginning, I worked alone. Then first employees appeared, and when there were more employees, I started delegating. I executive director, financial director, technical director, commercial director. I delegated everything that could be delegated. I was not engaged in operational management myself, but the sales volume continued to grow. We shipped our goods all over the country, hundreds of satisfied customers. Our revenue exceeded tens of millions of dollars. And of course, my standard of living also increased. I bought myself a business class car, moved into a spacious three-bedroom apartment, two children. My spouse does not work anywhere. Actually, I managed to create that source of passive income about with which Kiyosaki writes. By the way, who'd like to have one? Because they say that it doesn't work, but I managed to do that. The only thing that I didn't notice how at some point in time my top management tried to sideline me, how it was. One nice day, my executive director knocks on the door. He says, Ravi, everything is great, but I want to quit. I think, damn it, I've just gotten used not to being engaged in operational management, and here it is. My executive director wants to quit. I think, okay, we'll figure something out. We'll replace him quickly now because it's not a big deal. It's only an executive director. But it turned out that it was only the beginning of the whole chain of events that led to the fact that in a week and a half, all my top managers left the company. They didn't just leave. 6 months ago, before, they created the same company as mine, and they sold the same things that I sold my own customers. And of course, when leaving, they took the whole customer base and the best part of the sales department with them. Those people who pass through such kind of things, I think you understand very well what you feel in this situation. But the scariest thing is not in that. The scariest thing is in another. Sometimes, just imagine the situation. You are sitting on an office chair. It's kind of on one leg, it rotates like my one, and you're sitting there calmly and relaxed, and someone sneaks up behind you. He takes this leg. It's the only source of income, by the way, that leg. He takes this leg, he knocks it out, and many people can't stand it. They close their businesses, they go bankrupt, and I had the very same situation. It was the only source of income, and I disappeared at work. Everything that I had delegated fell back on me. I started sorting out it somehow. My income fell down. Why? Because customer base was taken away, sales department was taken away, and my company's revenue went down, so my personal income also fell. At that time, my car was bought on credit, of course. My apartment was mortgaged. I had consumer loans. I had two children professionally engaged into rhythmic gymnastics. It means that they have 8 competitions a year, each of them. I had to pay for relocations, for costumes, for personal coaching, for equipment. My spouse did not work anywhere at that time. So conflicts began, caused by kind of conflicts over money. Thanks God, we didn't come to divorce. I'm telling you about this very calmly now, but it wasn't so at that moment. And it's not only my story, it's a worldwide statistics. Very often, such kind of things lead to divorces. According to statistics, 30% of divorces only in the United States are caused by conflicts over money. And I was blaming Kiyosaki in everything then. I thought, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be in such a situation. But I looked around, I saw people who managed to create this system, and it worked for them. And I started asking myself, where was I wrong? Did I do a mistake? I read that book again. I read a lot of things, I analyzed, and I came to a conclusion that Kiyosaki gives directions for your thoughts. He motivates you, he gets you started, but it will be done through trial and errors in order to put all these things into practice. And I had to make a lot of mistakes. As an entrepreneur, I was good. I created a company that sold millions of dollars all over the country. The problem was that I didn't have financial literacy. I couldn't manage that money. And the only way how to get out of that situation, I saw in increasing the level of my financial IQ. So I started to switch from one money management strategy to another one. The first thing that I changed in my attitude to money was my attitude to earning money. Previously, I had the only source of income in the form of business. Today, I have more than 20 sources of income. These are not 20 businesses. These are 20 channels through which money comes to me. And if suddenly one of them drops off, my financial building still stands on the remaining 19 pillows. Moreover, it's only me who decide how many pillows under my financial house I will have. It all depends on me, how much free time I have and how much free money I have. The second thing I changed was my attitude to spending money. Previously, I used to spend everything that came to me. I also used to take loans. We changed that strategy. We started saving money. First 10%, then 20%, then 50%. Finally, we started to channel up to 80% of our earnings into investments. I also changed my attitude to investing money. Previously, I was looking for the way how to multiply my capital several times in a short period of time. To be honest, I drained money away. I even calculated that around $250,000 I drained away on different crooked schemes and scams, and I couldn't find that secret way of rapid capital multiplication. And today, investments are more conservative, but the yield several times higher than the market. Today, my capital exceeds $1 million. I'm not a billionaire, I'm just self-made millionaire. I built a dream house with an area of 3,000 square feet. I have a luxurious condominium in Istanbul, Turkey, with swimming pools, basketball courts, tennis courts, underground parking, sauna, hammam, huge 150,000 square feet safe area with 24/7 hour security. I'm very proud that I gave my wife a premium class car, Mercedes cool car. Why? Because when we were students and just started dating, I had no idea how I could buy her such a car. In the world where I was, I didn't have that money. It's like there was another world where they had this money, but I had no idea how I can get from this world to another one. It's like a parallel world. Maybe some have the same feeling that there is some kind of parallel world where they have money. You go, for example, to Manhattan. Just look around. You see that skyscraper and just start counting. $2 million apartment, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, $200 million. How? How is it even possible? But I managed to make that transition. And therefore, I'm sharing this story so you also could see how it's possible to do that. Today, we travel, by the way, quite a lot. Who'd like to travel more? Write it in comments if you want to travel more in your life. My wife and I, we had a dream. We wanted to travel more. Somehow it didn't always work out, to be honest. Today we can do that. We try to open 1 or 2 new countries every single year. We visit some countries multiple times, and a lot of our trips are connected with training. Today I teach a lot. I conduct a lot of different trainings, seminars, master classes, not only in New York, but other countries and cities. And I also study a lot myself. How did I come to that? Some time ago, I took paid investment course where one of the speakers was a dollar billionaire. So his capital exceeded $1 billion. And as far as I knew, the organizers of that event, I had an opportunity to talk to that guy one-on-one. Immediately after the performance, I approached him and asked, "You're a successful guy. You achieved great heights. What advice could you give me to a person who's only starting that path, who's yet to earn that money?" He looked at me and said, "Ravi, study. Be sure to study. Invest your time and your money in your education. It will definitely pay off. All you can do is invest in yourself. And the more you invest in yourself, the more you will get back." And I've been studying since then. At a point, I have invested more than $200,000 in my education, and I noticed the following. While I'm studying, I'm growing. As soon as study stops, my growth also stops. I have 2 hobbies. I like to share the information that I have passed through myself that worked very cool on me, and I like to see how other people get their results. And this is the very reason why I'm doing this live stream for you at the point. The second hobby is investments. I manage our family investment portfolio. We have quite a lot of different lines of investments. For example, for more than 10 years, we've been investing in commercial real estate. We have a pool of real estate properties, and we rent it out. The money that comes in allows me and my family to support the standard of living that we've got today. It's called the level of financial independence. When you don't have to work actively anymore, enough money comes in to cover all existing obligations, while the capital still remains and it continues to multiply by itself. We also have land for development. I invest in my education. I have already mentioned about that. It's a very serious line of my investments. We have stocks in American, Asian, European stock markets. We diversify our assets, and it makes our portfolio more stable. In aggressive part, we have cryptocurrency. In conservative part, we have life insurances, bank deposits. We also have commodity markets. There are more than 20 different instruments in our portfolio today. I'm the founder of the Academy of Financial, and it's a multiple winner in nomination. And me personally, in my academy, are multiple winners in nomination for financial contribution, for contribution in financial education. I'm the founder of this academy. More than 35,000 different students have already passed through this, through its seminars in person. More than 3,000 students have already achieved results of more than $30 million. This is not just the growth of the revenue of the company. These are real money that participants in their pocket, something that you can touch, measure, feel. And these results inspire me. These numbers inspire me to do what I'm doing at the point. I'm the author of books. I have multiple books, maybe 7 if I'm not mistaken. And all of them are directly connected with my educations. I have degree in finance. I have books in investments and business. For example, you can see one of them here, business from scratch up to millions. You can find this book on Amazon. We will also set the link under this video so you can get this book. I also have a PhD in philology, and I have books in that direction. I have education in psychology. I'm a professional coach in business and consulting, and I have books that connect financial, just mindset and money. So we call it financial mindset. By the way, here's this book. It's called Secret Money Ladder. I hope you can see it. Here, by the way, this is the system of 10 steps. I'm going to tell you about this system. This is what worked in my case. The system of 10 steps worked in my case. I'm not going to tell you the whole my story. Some part of the story may be found in these books. You can find on Amazon. What's this system is about? I want to share my screen with you. I hope it will work. One moment. So here it is. The system of 10 steps. We're not going to dive deep into each of these steps today. I will organize streams about each of these steps once a week, but I want to create some vision how it works. The first step is the step of starting out, until of breaking away. Until you're sitting on a chair, nothing's going to happen in your life. As soon as you get up, start moving, you can set yourself a big, ambitious goal at the level of dream, at the level of mission, maybe. But often it happens that one person sets himself a big, ambitious goal, but it does not fit into his small brains because there is some kind of restrictions, limiting beliefs, narrow thinking. That's why the next step, the second step, is exploding thinking. How to make this big, new, beautiful goal to fit into your brain so that your brain accepts it and you start doing actions in the direction of realizing that dream. The third step is control. You've passed only the part of the way, you can still calibrate the road. The fourth step, financial roadmap. How are we going to move forward? The fifth step, how to control spending. How to improve the quality of life by lowering the level of spending. It may seem illogical because when you decrease the level of spending, you also should decrease the quality of life. But no, for the rich, when they decrease the level of spending, they improve the quality of life. The sixth step is how to create additional sources of income and how to get more money from those channels of earnings that you already have today. The seventh step is how to calculate money correctly, how to calculate business, how to calculate investments, how to calculate money at those people who always have that money. The eighth step is the step of business, how to start a company from scratch with zero investments, how to get more money from those businesses that you already have today. The ninth step is about investments, how to choose a company for investment portfolio, how to multiply capital. So someone comes to you and says, Ravi, listen, cool topic, come on in. And how can you understand how safe it is to enter this tool? And so that this skill is formed, fixed, and you yourself could choose a company for your investment portfolio until the end of your life. And the 10th step is transition to the next cycle. So you start from the very beginning. Every time passing through this staircase, you reach new financial level. We will go deep into each of these steps. Today, close the sharing. Today, it was kind of introduction, how it works. Thank you for being with me today. Next week, we'll start with step number 1. Not to lose it, subscribe, hit the bell button so you don't lose our next stream. And tell me in the chat or comments, what's your biggest financial struggle? I'll use your stories in the next episode. Have a good week. Bye.